Back in September of last year, you and I spent some time with Derek Jenkins, the design director of Mazda and a really good friend of the show, when they launched the 2016 Mazda Miata, the 25th anniversary of the Mazda Miata at Laguna Seca. And we spent some time on camera, and he actually asked you guys questions. He wanted to know what you thought of the new car, and also what you wanted to see in future Miatas. Well, guess who's coming back on the show right now to answer some of those questions? And oh, by the way, when I ask you guys to leave comments, maybe this is a really good example of why you should leave questions or comments. You guys, man, you were on top of it, and they didn't leave you easy questions.
Well,
no. Although I will tell you this, the overall feedback was incredibly positive about the car. They loved I think they loved the angularity of the car. That's what I got.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a couple of people. Of course, there's always that one or two idiot commenters like, don't turn it into a BRZ.
Right.
And I look at your car, and I don't see a
That's
BRZ
not
at
a
all.
BRZ.
Not at all.
No.
But the questions that did come in, here's what we got. You ready?
Hit me.
I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you with the toughest one first, okay? Power option. Mm-hmm. So you just showed the car, and you didn't invite me. I'm a little offended that I didn't get to drive the car. Okay. So
you would have gone to Spain?
I totally would have gone to Spain, of course.
I didn't even go. So
yeah, because you were jetting off to Milan, going like hanging out with fashionistas.
Hey, you know,
this is the life this guy leads. So you kind of showed your hand on what the engine is.
Yeah.
But is there going to be another power option?
Well, keep in mind when during the Barcelona event, that's running the small motor, so the 1.5 liter, and the U.S. is slated to get the 2-liter engine.
Okay, so there is two options.
So there is two options, yeah.
Okay.
And so it's not a huge power difference, but it's going to make a difference on a car that weighs, you know, what the new car weighs. I mean, it's a light car, so any extra horsepower is going to make a big difference, but that's all we're talking about right now, you know, in terms of motor options.
So Derek, you guys don't know this about Derek. Derek's a bit of a handy guy, and you're doing some work on your house right now, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have your own man cave.
I'm building the man cave,
Yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
Want to know why I'm excited about this? Because why don't we build a power option? We'll get one of these 2016 Miatas.
We'll mod one in my garage.
And we'll get some sort of engine thing, and we'll make it
Sounds good to me.
A monster.
That would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome.
Let us know in the comments below if you guys want us to build a car for you. That's probably a stupid idea for them to
exactly.
They wouldn't live very long, but it would be fun.
Can they help fund it?
Actually, yes. Maybe we should start one of those Indiegogo campaigns.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, if you guys
we'll build it in my garage.
We'll build it in Derek's garage. We'll film it, and why don't we race it too?
That would
Seriously.
be cool.
Okay, if you guys want that, we'll set up a funding campaign, and you and I will get some crazy motor.
Sounds good to me,
like
man.
You and I will fly to Cosworth, have them build one for us.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, next question. This is a simple one, actually.
Okay.
And I don't even know if you can answer this yet. Have you spec'd out color and trim on the car yet?
Well, we haven't announced all the color and material finishes. So you can expect some of the key colors that are in the Mazda lineup, and then there's going to be a couple special ones as well.
Okay.
But that's the nice thing about color, is it's on a constant evolution. So we're already working on new colors for the car down the line, you know.
Okay.
So,
And so the specific question was, is it going to be another red?
You know, red is obviously a key color for Mazda. You know, we're always showing everything in Soul Red.
I noticed.
Soul Red will evolve, put it that way.
I want to go off on a tangent here. I want to show a little bit behind the scenes to the audience. So, you and I know each other for a while, and you tell me all what goes on. The booth. So let's put aside cars.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at all the booths here, some of them are neat, but you guys have like this very consistent theme behind it. What goes on behind the scenes to make that happen?
You know, that's been a long process to build up. You know, we used to have, our booths used to be very kind of casual.
Yeah.
And as the cars have gotten more sophisticated and we really put a big effort in getting the cars even to look more upmarket, the booth had to kind of step up with it. So we've tried to create a booth that's modern. It looks very warm and inviting, and even has a little bit of feel of kind of Zen Japanese quality to it.
Yeah.
So we've really tried to elevate that to fit with the cars, you know.
Okay.
And I think the booth, the way you've seen it in Los Angeles, and then now here, is reflecting that. And that's been several years in the making. It takes that long to kind of shift gears.
So a little bit behind the scenes for me, I was hired to do financial analyst tours. So, you know, all of like the hedge fund guys.
Oh, okay.
You know, the guys that rape and pillage the economy.
Yeah.
I gave them a tour of the LA Auto Show.
Okay.
And they all commented like, wow, look at that booth over there.
Really?
Why does everything look so uniform? There's red here and there's one stripe of white.
Yes.
And I'm like, I happen to know why.
Yeah.
And I told them your whole story.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we're very careful with the placement of the colors of the cars in the booth. We don't want it to come off like a used car lot. You know
Obviously,
what I mean? And sometimes
they do.
They
a
do,
lot of
you
them
know?
do, especially the bigger manufacturers.
So we're very consistent, you know, red cars here, white cars here, we might have some dark cars here.
Yeah.
And it's a very clear layout, keeps
Yeah.
consistency, and it just makes a really unified brand message, you know?
I think it's funny that bankers actually picked up the theme.
Yeah.
It's not detail-oriented guys.
You're right.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one last question
Okay.
now. Are you going to do any kind of other derivation of hardtop roof or anything like that?
So that's a tough one to really talk about. You know?
Really? Okay, you want to put a pin in that kind of conversation?
Let's put it this way. The current, the prior MX-5 retractable hardtop is extremely successful. You know, to the point there was a time when it was almost 50-50 sales between the ragtop and the retractable hardtop. So, you know, I think it's fair to say that we're not going to just ignore that. You know, but in terms of any kind of detail and where we're taking things, I can't discuss that.
How about like old M coupe kind of deal? How about the modern cheap man's FF? How about that? By the way, man, I just drove to California with a new twin turbo engine.
Dog, you.
Santa Maria Madre de Dios, that thing.
It's got to be awesome.
I've never driven a car where the engine is just so incredible, where you stop driving it, you stand away from it, and you're like, the engine of that car is something magnificent.
The sound has just got to be insane.
The sound, you got the flat plane crank,
right?
But they give you they redid the whole exhaust manifold, where the intake, the runners on the exhaust manifold are all the equal length.
Okay.
So it makes it sound even more incredible.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I got like 24 mpg on the highway.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Are you serious?
It doesn't have any gas guzzler tax. It doesn't have. It's in one of the lower CO2 brackets over in like Europe.
Okay.
And then there's no displacement tax in China.
Okay.
That's why they did the engine. But
awesome.
I can't wait to drive it in a 48 GTB. I mean, that's what I bring by your house.
That's the one you got to stop by the house.
Yeah, make sure Connie pays up your health, your life insurance policy.
Because you're gonna
crash it, not
yeah,
me.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Actually, I said one last question. I want to ask you one question that has nothing to do with Mazdas.
Okay.
We got a great question from Milan Patel on, and excuse me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, Milan Patel on YouTube. He pointed something out. Remember when the Prius first came out?
Oh yeah.
All the manufacturer people were saying, you know what, this is the future. There's going to be no more crazy cars. Everything's going to be efficient. We're in 2015. You guys have Miatas that are over 200 horsepower. There are Dodges with 700 horsepower.
That's crazy.
That Ferrari I told you about, they had to detune that engine. Detune it to 552.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So my guess is that prediction didn't come true.
No.
Milan's question is, what do you think is going to go forward in 10 years?
Well, I'm an optimist, and I feel like I've been saying for the last 10 years we're in the golden age.
Yeah.
I just feel like we are. We have more choice as consumers. There's a broader range of performance from the affordable to the Uber level. And I just think we're in this golden time. And I think even from a design standpoint, it's an amazing time.
Totally agree with you on that.
There's such a range of styles and tastes and vehicles. And it's like, I just feel like it's a great, great time. Now, the unknown going forward is, new drivetrain technologies, what's going to happen with electrification. But if anybody's driven the Tesla, for example, this is a thrilling experience.
It is.
You know,
It's awesome.
I'm not afraid of electric cars. I think that's going to be its own new kind of emotion going forward.
I know you're not afraid of electric cars.
But the real unknown is the autonomous movement. Because I think that's coming on quickly, and I think it's necessary because there's a lot of benefit that can come from that, from a safety standpoint and traffic congestion. I think that's a huge step.
What are you guys doing in that end? I know I've driven the Mercedes autonomous car, but what are you guys doing in that area?
Well, I mean, we've already got the early stages of the smart cruise control and smart city braking and these early kind of accident avoidance technologies, which is kind of a precursor to the bigger things down the road because those sensors are in place and they help you through a dangerous situation. But as we start to look towards semi-autonomous and fully autonomous cars in the next, let's say, 10 years or longer, the unknown is where do we go from there? What's going to happen? Does actual human driving of vehicles get banned at some point?
Or does it become country clubs?
Yeah. So that's the question. That's a little scary, and I don't have the answer for that.
That would be expensive for you and I.
Yeah.
That really would.
Yeah. So.
What did you like at the show that wasn't Mazda?
I loved the Lincoln show car.
Really?
Especially the interior, mostly the interior.
What did you think of the color combo?
The color is outstanding.
The blue is outstanding, but what about the interior? The color
I love it.
Really?
I love the indigo navy combination with all the chrome metal details.
I'm going to get you one of those Bill Blass Lincolns from like the 70s.
That stuff.
You are a pimp daddy, I knew it.
Big time. Yeah.
You heard it here. Derek Jenkins is a pimp daddy. So here's the script. Click here to subscribe. Click here to watch one of our 350 other episodes. And most importantly, share us with your friends. You're already wasting half your life on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. MotoManTV, all one word. I don't care who you share us with. Share us with your enemies. Just give the gift of MotoMan.